Looks good. All right, you should see that recording message popping up. Hello there, Kyle. And so, welcome to week 3. We have made it past the halfway point, and we are going to be rolling along here. This week is what I call a transitional week, and part of the reason why I call it that is because at the end of the week, you definitely want to be caught up with everything because on Friday, the final week's assignments will open. They open early, and there's a reason for that. And the reason being is next week, our final week, it ends on Thursday at 10 p.m., not 11:59, not midnight, 10 p.m. That means that final week does not have a weekend. So anyone that's used to catching things up on the weekend, you don't have a weekend that final week. So that does make it a little bit more urgent for things to be completed. So I had to beg, steal, borrow everything years ago to get permission to be able to get assignments open early on that final week. You still have a full week's worth of assignments. That does not change. So by bringing things up to date, getting things done early, you are able to get a jump on that final week. That means everything is open. Hint, hint, that means you actually have the opportunity to get in there and get things finished beforehand. So let's take a look and see what that means. After this class is over, you have a week off. Okay. You see how that works out? So if you finish this class early, you extend that week. Okay. So that's real important for people who like that extra time off. If you manage to get everything done on Tuesday, that means that is going to add to your total time out. So that's another reason to get everything caught up and done. Okay. Now, as you're finishing things up and finalizing and everything, do not think my grade is high enough. I have had in years past people get to that final week and they're in the mid to upper 90s grade wise and they blow off that final week and I get to see them the next month because they fell below that passing grade. They blew it in the last week, and I repeatedly was reaching out to them. You are not going to pass if you do not turn something in. You're going to fall short. They thought for sure they had calculated it out that they were going to pass. Do not play the numbers game, okay? Please do all the assignments. All right. It's a reflection on you and your work ethic. Settling says, this is what I think of my work ethic. Don't do it. Okay. Plan ahead, plan for electric outages, system outages, things like that. We live in Florida. We've seen a number of storms here in the past week or so. It's that time of the year where we get afternoon storms all over the place. Make sure you plan ahead. When that Thursday comes around next week, 10 o'clock, that is a system cutoff, okay? I cannot give you an extension. That is out of my control. If I put one in, you cannot get into the class to get to it. So it's not a system or an issue of me wanting to give you one. You wouldn't be able to access it. 10 o'clock, everyone starts to get locked out of the classes. We will finalize grades, and by the morning, those grades are in and the classes are cleared for the next ones coming in July. All right. So I want to make that perfectly clear. You're going to see that on multiple emails, texts coming out within this week and the beginning of next. So please make sure that you are aware of that. All right. I want to make sure everyone knows so they can plan ahead. This includes people who like to pick up those double shifts, etc. Unfortunately, I've got no control over those times. All right. That being said, some of you are making it incredible in the class. Your grades are boom, 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 boom. An enormous amount of you are in that upper A bracket, those high 90s, etc. And so, but don't think of those grades as the only ones are good. Remember, 70s are average. We get to thinking 70s are a bad grade. They are not. Okay. Now, let's talk about what happened if you took the week off. And it looks like some people did. They just turned absolutely nothing in last week. Apparently, I didn't get the email that it was vacation time. So, what happened? Those grades went to your campuses and they are notifying people. If you fell below that passing point, they don't have a choice. They have to contact you. That is regulations. They have to do so. So please be kind to them. Don't be upset by the results you didn't get for the work you didn't do. We have to do these things. We do care about how well you do. Make sure that you're understanding, and these skills are going to be needed out there. Okay. I know this because I talk to the people who do hiring for these positions, and they tell us those hard skills, the ones you learn specifically for the job, you all have them. You're doing great on those. But the soft skills, these other ones that you're learning in this class, you're learning in English, you're learning in math, they're wanting those too. And that's going to make the difference in the ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching when you get hired. And I don't know about you, but I like my bling bling and my ka-ching ka-ching. So pay attention to those other classes. They're just as important. And they're what's going to make that difference between position A, position B, and on that paycheck. All right. So here we go. Let's get to getting so we can see what's all this fuss is about. So here we are. We're on that famous screen that you see so much, and we're going to take a look at it from a student viewpoint here, so it looks more like what you're in on. Okay. And we're going to go into the modules. Had some people try to launch from the to-do list and over here from McGraw-Hill SimNet. No, that doesn't work. And I've also had people trying to run things from phones. Please don't take the time to try to do that. Those don't work. Phones still do not work with SimNet. I have nothing against them. I'm waiting for the new iPhone, the flip one, to come out. So, yeah, I'm addicted to those. I'm an Apple fanboy, and I'm going to be throwing down my money when I can. When you come into the modules, you'll notice it goes straight down to week 2. The other ones are gone. You cannot get a week 1 assignment. That's not available anymore. And at the end of this week 2 is going to drop out. You won't have access to that. Okay? Understand that we have rules we have to follow. You get 1 week to do the assignment, then you can request up to a week if it's approved. And then after that, you can't have it anymore. Weeks 1 and 2 not available that final week. So to get an extension on these assignments that you may have overlooked, you come down into week 3. This is what we're in. And this week 2 self-evaluation, everyone needs to do the assignment, but this is where you ask for those extensions. When you're filling it out, I am checking that you're putting in the correct grades. Don't just go through there and boom, 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 boom. Come on, people. There's a reason for this. It's called accountability. Okay? I want you to actually see what you're doing and not doing. This way, you don't get to the end of the class and say, I had no idea. All right? Okay, I send out a lot of texts and emails. How many go? I know we get them, we get them. All right. I know I send out a lot, but there's a reason. Hopefully, you're reading some of them and that because if somebody comes back and says, I had no idea, I was never notified, no one ever told me, every single one of those emails and texts goes into an audit trail. and it shows all the times that I contacted you and I tried to get you and I tried to tell you and I was letting you know you're here, you're here, you're here. Okay? I want you to be successful. And if I have to sound like I'm nagging over and over and over, please understand the importance behind these things. And so I would rather overcare than undercare. All right. So go in here, fill this out. Make sure you're aware of what you're doing. Maybe I scored something incorrectly. Let me know. Put that in, grab your attendance, grab some points, get that extension. But understand if you request the extension on Thursday, it's still going to end on Sunday. You don't get more time because you requested it late. They all still end on Thursday. Now, this week, our discussion, it's on Excel. Okay. Now, Excel scares people. It can be very impersonal as far as in the way it looks. And some people are afraid of it because all they think formula, formula, formulas. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for just a minute because I have to look for a file that I meant to pull up. You would think by now I would always remember to grab this one before um, I do this uh, part of the class, but I always seem to forget this one. And so here we go. Let me just grab this and I'm going to pull that over to the side right now. That way I can come back here and bring my screen back for you. All right. So here we go. So it's very impersonal looking. It's kind of spooky. It's not the most friendly looking interface. I'll admit that. It's kind of weird that way, but it's also one of the most versatile. And whenever you have more options, things are not as user friendly. That's the difference between Android phones and Apple phones. Androids, you can change so much. And so the programmers can get in there, they can offer you a wide variety. Apple, things tend to work more often than on Androids. There's more issues with Android programming because Apple says, no, you can't do that. No, 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 it's restricted. Excel's kind of that way. It says everybody can do everything. And that's what makes it a little bit scary. So in this one, in this discussion, it is widely used, organizing, calculations, reports, and I want you to think how you would use this in your career. Okay, how you would use it. So I've given some examples, and each one of the careers is listed here, some key uses of it. Boom, 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 boom. And some examples of how it's used in those. So what I want you to do is think about how you could possibly use this. All right. Now, I came prepared. So here we're going to start off with welding. Okay. So welding, they do weld test, and you need to know the strength of those tests or the strength of those welds. So here's an example. When we are testing the strength of a single butt weld, it has a formula, O times T times L, okay? So O is the tensile strength. That's how much you can pull a piece of metal before it snaps, okay, basically. And the thickness and the length, and you multiply those together, and that's what's going to give you that strength. And that's what we see here. Now you can multiply those together manually, but let's say that length of 80 millimeters, that's actually should have been 800 millimeters. I put that in, I hit return. Look, boom, it calculates for me. Now that's a lot better and a lot more accurate, okay? And I can change that. The thickness should have been 6. Boom, it does that. Okay, now that may not seem like a whole lot, but now look at how much more complicated these formulas get for a double butt, a double parallel, a single transverse. Now a double transverse, do you really want to be hand typing this in to calculate every single time, you see how this becomes more complicated. So that is what we do. Okay. Oh, by the way, I didn't see this. Happy birthday, Kyle. I want a piece of cake. Sorry, I just noticed that down there. And so now that's a good example for them. What about electrical? So electrical, you're going through and you have all the different types of lighting fixtures in a database preloaded. So as they're selecting what types of lighting fixtures, what power sockets, what electrical heating, you're putting in, okay, this one's got 45 watts here, and they're going to need 75 of these in here. Now, you notice it's putting in a total load and a maximum demand load, okay? Because that total load, that's going to be that boom startup load. Now, you know, electric, that when you kick something on, that total load's going to jump, and then the maximum demand load's going to go back down, right? So what you're doing is you're trying to figure out what these total loads are on here. Ooh, I'm going to change this here. We don't want that 666 down there. So we're going to sit here and we're going to bring up this total and keep carrying it down. Now, what we're doing is we're trying to figure out exactly what we're going to have to put in that breaker box so that we know, are we going to need one, two, how are we going to split this up? So as we're going through a building, we can easily do this. We don't have to take these numbers back and manually crunch them. Now, keep in mind, this is all Excel being utilized different. Now, HVAC, you're out in somebody's house. They might need to purchase a new system. So boom. What? Wait a minute. Now Excel looks totally different. Now, how many of you have ever seen something like this, where you have it saying it's an estimate? You got the company logo, the date here, the company logo's up here, but your name's here and you're just sweating bullets, okay? Because you're going to have to purchase this, okay? If it's a residential unit, yeah, you may only need 8 vents, okay? The thermostat, you're going to need one of these, okay? But you may need a whole HVAC unit, okay? And what if that is $12,000? Whoops, I need one of these, and that's going to cost me $12,000. Ouch. And look at that, it's going to bring it down. They're not going to be nice to give me a discount. And then my tax rate, I put that in here, and it's a 7%. Boom, calculates it. Look at that. Now this can go to a printer, print me up an estimated bill, just like that. You bring a portable printer with you, you hand it to them, and they cry and cry, and then they call you up and they say, we'll do it. What kind of financing terms do you have? Now you're understanding how these work in your businesses. And don't think the medical industries are out on this. This one's the beauty. Look at this mess. Okay. This is also the same thing. They put in your name, your allergies, your weight. They have your drugs listed here. And depending on your weight, it starts putting in the little blocks here start changing color. If it's red, that means you're hitting either a maximum weight or dosage issue and it's incompatible. Or they check off 2 drugs and it's flagging. It's like, no, 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 they can't have these 2 together. All in the same program. So Excel can be the same thing, but it looks different on your career. Now, I don't expect you to create something this complicated. Understand, these are people they keep hidden away who write these sheets that are this complicated. but I want you to be aware that they are in your careers because people go, oh, I'll never use this. I'll never do this. Da, 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 da. I'm just going to sit out here in the weld shop. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this. No, it don't work that way. You actually spend way more time outside of those booths or way more time doing this or way more time. Talk to someone who is in the field in a considerable size shop. Mom and pop places are run entirely different, and you're going to find out how much time is actually spent in everything. All right. Word of advice, do what we call informational interviews and talk to people in these bigger places and find out what they do when they're on those jobs. All right. So this is giving you kind of a little, this is what happens out there. So I want you to think, what would you use this for? Thinking along those lines. Okay. And using information here. What are some of the things that you could use it for? Now, my family, we like fast cars. I don't know if anybody else likes fast cars. We like fast cars. Okay. I have a 75 Camaro, second owner. We knew the first ones. We've got everything on that car since it came off the assembly line. Okay. My mom, now think about how old I am. My mom, she drives a 240Z. Okay. One of the originals. She also has a Viper. We don't let her take it out on the road very much. We don't like that car really, and but we keep it. It's got some value to it. We got a few other vroom vrooms, but we have to do maintenance on all of these. Okay, so there's a moral to this. We use Excel to keep track of all the maintenance per car. Each one of them has a workbook, and we track all the maintenance on all the things so we know how to keep up with them. Why? Because when we do go to sell one of these cars, we have all the information, and that information we track brings us bigger money. So Excel can be used a lot of different ways. And we're going to do a project that's going to show you a little bit on how to feel comfortable with it. All right? So there's a method to this whole big story. So let's go back to the modules. After you've gone through that discussion, you have just 2 chapters this week. Remember last week you had 3. This week you only have 2 because I feel like this week is a little more complicated and that people get more nervous about it. Okay. Is it more difficult? Not really. It's more difficult based on expectations. How many people get nervous when they think they have to do math or work with numbers? Anybody get nervous? You start getting a little, I'm not so sure if I like that. Okay. I want to assure you, you can do this. All right. Breathe. I keep a container of gummy bears with me. And when I get nervous, I bite their heads off. Makes me feel good. It might be kind of cannibalistic to the poor little gummy bears, but it makes me feel good. It's a nervous tick that I do. Okay. But I assure you, I give you everything. And remember, if you're doing things honestly and you're not getting it, you send that item to me. Don't stress. But if you wait until the last minute to do things, you're putting more stress on yourself. So don't wait till the last minute. So you're going to have 2 chapters and a quiz. Okay, I'm not going to go through those because they work like the previous 2 weeks. So we're going to go to the project. Now, before I jump there, I want to show you this right below it. It's a student survey. When you click on that, it's going to take you here. That's me right there, Ronald Haley. And then the class is COC100 right there. And it's got questions down here. Now, I won't know who takes this and who doesn't take it and what your answers are, but I hope you do take it. And the reason why I hope you take it is because it is a great way to let us know what you like and you don't like in the courses here. So make your voice heard because so many times it's not. We get frustrated in life and things and not being able to tell people what we feel. If you don't like me, you don't like the course, whatever the questions are, to be honest, I haven't gone through them in a while. Let us know because that's how things get changed. Now, some things you have to be realistic. One person just wanted videos that they watched and did no assignments at one point. No, you have requirements. You have to be able to do things when you get out of here to do your jobs. So be realistic and think if I was an employer, what would I want to be able to get out of my employees besides the actual, this is how you do this, this, and this, but overall, if I had to ask them to step up to do something. So think about your overall career in education, not just, I only want to be able to do this, because no one's going to want to hire someone who can just do that one thing. All right, I'll get off that soapbox. You do that survey in addition to those things, and let's look at this project. All right, so here we go. So in the project, a couple of things. We're going to be talking about our inventory, something that's key to so many businesses that people start. And the reason why they go under, they don't track their inventory. And inventory is money. And money is one of the biggest reasons why they go under. They either overpay themselves or their employees because they hire family and friends, or they're not tracking their expenses. They're buying too much. They're buying expensive equipment that they really have no way of getting their money back through sales, etc. Or they have extras that are walking out the door because employees are taking them. So you have to track these things. You have to track purchases. So we're going to do something like that in this project. Now pay attention because I'm going to do a lot of the work for you at the beginning, and then I'm going to show you step by step how to do this because I want you to understand and have a little bit of an idea of how to do this, not just hours of work. All right. So we're going to use Microsoft Excel. Don't try to use an AI to do this because I'm giving you the template to do it. Don't try to use Google Sheets or another program. It specifically states Microsoft Excel. Okay. One of the things you're graded on is your ability to follow the directions, the specifications, just like you would on the job. Okay. Now, this tells you how things are going to be calculated, but I'm going to show you here. So I tell you how to do the total cost, how to do the final cost, and how to total things up. So everything is very much documented as to how to do this, okay? Now, when you go to save it and attach it into it, I even provide printed documentation right here. If you click on those, it is step-by-step instructions on how to do that, okay? So again, I want to show you that the information's here but I will go through it. So let's do this. So you're going to find your career, and it doesn't matter which one you are in. You find the one, they're very similar. I'm going to choose electrical today. And when you click on it, you're actually going to see what it looks like. And they all look relatively the same. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be working with the blue fields or the shaded fields. Okay. And so you will click download. And I am actually going to save this to a folder on my desktop called demo. And I'm just going to save it exactly what it's called there. And so it has saved it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my portal and to Microsoft 365. Now, when I click on that, since I've already been logged in, it's going to go right into it. If you have not, then it will ask you for your user ID and password, which are the same as your Canvas ID and password. Okay, if you try to use your own credentials, it may ask you to purchase it. So that's why I tell you to use those student ID and passwords. We're going to go up here to this little waffle menu up here. That's what this little square is called. Click on that, and we're looking for Excel, and it is the green one right there. We're going to click on that. And it is going to launch. And we're going to click upload a file, because remember we just downloaded that one, and I saved mine to that folder on my desktop called demo. And I'm going to make this look like a list so I can find it easier. And I'm just sorting mine, clicking on it and saying open. Now I'm on a Mac, so my list looks different, but you need to find your file. Okay, so this is what it looks like in Excel. Now, I'm going to quickly switch over here so I can talk about Excel for you. This is what a blank Excel sheet looks like. Now, when you see the items demonstrated in your book, it might not look exactly like this. If you come over to the right-hand side and click that down arrow, you have a chance to do what we call a classic display, and click on that, and now you'll see more of a description going across the ribbon. I prefer to read it like that because I like that extra description. It makes it easier for me. So that's what I do. Now, when you're looking at these little squares that I'm clicking on here, each one of those is called a cell. Now I'm going to increase the size of my screen here, so hopefully you can see it better. Now, when I say they are called a cell, that is spelled C-E-L-L, just like that. And that's how we reference them. So as I click, you'll notice it lights up green on the top and the side over here on the left. So we call each cell by those. And then we call this one N7. This one here would be I12. Now, these are called columns, up and down, and rows run left and right. So a cell is always referenced by its column, I, and row 7. Now, when I click on one, you'll notice over here in this little square, this is called the name box. If I hover over it, it even says it, it will tell you what square you're in or what cell. That says N8, this is N14, this is H7. This is how we refer to a cell. Okay, if I click on the top of a column, it'll light up the whole thing. Click on the number on the row, it lights up the whole thing or selects it. Okay, so that's how we work with those. To put something in one, I just type, hit return, and you'll notice it didn't fit. It's overflowing. I can relate. Sometimes that's the way my pants are. I don't fit in them. I overflow them. Same thing, only with a cell. All I have to do is come up between that L and M and see how I get two little arrows on the side. If I double click on my left button, it will make that bigger, just like that. Boom. Now, the other way I could have done it is when it didn't fit, I could have come up between the L and M, held down that mouse button, and holding it, I could pull it to whatever size I wanted. Either way works. There's always going to be more than one way to do things in Excel. All right, so I can type what I want in here. I can change font colors, sizes, scripts, the same way you can in Word. So some things are nice in that they carry over from Word and that I can change them. I can make it bold, just like you do in anything. If I want to delete it, all I have to do is come up here, select it, press delete, or I could delete it here. If I'm at the top and I have it selected and I right click and I cut this out, it actually will get rid of that whole column. So I can do that as well. Escape gets you out of any selection. So now that I've moved around in that and I can put in numbers, let's say I put in a 1 here or a 5 here, I can do math in there as well. But there's other things I can do. If I have a 1 here, there's this little green box in the corner. And if I move my cursor over it, it goes from a white cross to a black cross. Hold down that left mouse button, pull it, let it go. It's going to fill ones in. Okay. Now, if I put a 1 here and a 2 here, come back to the first one, hold down the left mouse button, pull it, release it. Now go down to the corner, hold down the left mouse button again, pull it across. It's going to fill in a sequence. Now let's try this with a 1 and a 5. Go to the first one, hold down the left mouse, pull. Now go down to the corner, wait for that black cross, hold down left mouse again, pull it across. Now it skips by 4 every time because the difference between 1 and 5 is 4. Add 4 more, it goes to 9. Add 4 more, 13. 4 is 17, etc. It doesn't matter what the number is. I could put 5 in here, 200 in here, pull it across. Boom. It will do the same thing. Now I could put an 8 here, pull that down, and then pull down there. It would do the same thing. Notice that it keeps on jumping the same way it did there. It recognizes these in series. Now I can also do Sunday here, grab it in the corner, pull it across, and it will fill in days of the week. And I can do the same thing going down, and I can do the same thing going up. It doesn't care. If I put in months, and I go, oh, I should have started back here, I can pull it this way. And I go, oh, maybe I should have finished it out this way as well. It'll do the same thing. Excel changes all these things into numbers, so that's how it's able to quickly fill in data. Okay, so you can see how it starts to become versatile. Now, if I select the corner over here, it'll highlight everything. Press my delete key, it's all gone, all right? So we can see how data can be put in. So how do we do math? Math is everyone's favorite subject, right? How many people do not like math? I know usually there's somebody who's not very fond of it. Okay, that's fair enough. Not everybody likes math. So I want you to be honest when I ask questions about this. So I'm going to put 1 in a box, and I'm going to put 2 in a box. Think of them sitting there in a shoebox. But I want my answer over here, okay? Now, when I say 1 plus 2, we say equals, right? So this is equals here. What does it equal? I'm going to come click. It's going to be equal to that. All I did was click, okay? It's equal to that what? Plus. So I just typed the plus sign. Plus what? Left click there, okay? Now what? Give me that answer. I just hit return. That's 3. Wow, that's a lot of work to get a number, I admit. Okay, let's click on that 3 and see what it says. So it's 3 here, but up here it's showing you this is equal to J2. Okay, what's J2? That's this square, J2. Okay, that box is called J2. And what am I doing to it? I'm adding this box. So I want you to think of them. They're just boxes. And inside those boxes are numbers. So what happens if I pull that 1 out of that box and replace it? And I'm going to change that 1 and I'm going to put a 4 in there now. And I hit return. Look what happened over here. Okay, it is now a 6. Why? Because it's not adding 4 plus 2. It's adding anything that's in this box plus anything that's in this box. Excel doesn't care what the numbers are. It says anything in that box. Okay. Do you understand that? It's taking whatever's in the boxes. All right. That's why Excel works. So now you understand when it's a big inventory or we're adding the watts up or anything, it doesn't care what those are. It just says anything that's in this box, this is what I got to do to it. So when you break it down, it's not complicated. It's just saying, okay, I'll just do the math again with these now. And then you change it and goes, okay, I'll do the math again. The only difference is it doesn't complain like we do. I would complain if you made me keep doing the same thing over and over. It doesn't. It's like, thank you. Can I do another one? Thank goodness we didn't teach it to complain, right? Okay, so now what happens if I put in a 5 here and a 7 here, a 22, and a 9? Well, I don't want to have to sit here and click on all of these. That's going to be a pain. Excel has an answer for that. So I'm going to delete that 6 there, that formula thingy there, and we're going to use a formula. Now, how many think the word formula just sounds scary? Because I use that term and people just like, ugh, I don't like the idea of that. Okay, but I assure you it's going to be okay. So we're going to go up here. We're going to click on formula. Okay, and we're going to go to this funny looking M here that says auto sum. Every time I see that, I think of McDonald's, and I never eat at McDonald's, so I don't know why I think about it. So we're going to click on that. Okay, and look what it did. It drew this fancy little border all the way around here, and it said sum. Okay, but look what it's got inside here. It says J2, which is this one, all the way to O2. And what it's doing is it's saying, do you want me to add all of these that I see here? It figured this part out. Now, if I didn't want O included, I could just come in here, highlight that O right there. I could say, no, just go to N. And look what it does. It shortens it. Okay, or I could say, no, stop at L. And look, it shortens it. But I actually want it to go to O, so it's going to take all of that. Okay, and then I hit return. Boom, it adds it all. And if we click on that 49 up here, this is what's called that formula bar. It says I'm going to do J2 to O2. And see, look, it shows it when I hover on that. See, it shows all those numbers just right there. It's going to add all of them, just like that, because I said to. And I can change any one of these. And look, it'll redo it. I could put a 44 in here. And the best part is I don't have to pull that calculator out and redo it. You do this formula here one time and you're set. So you see the value in this? So that means when you do your measurements, when you do your your blueprints, and then they come back and they say, we need to make this 12% bigger. You don't have to recalculate everything. You're not a GPS. You're not recalculate. All you have to do is you have an area up here and it says form factor, and you change that form factor 12%. Boom, it changes everything. So now you understand how they're able to get back on track when the client says, we need to change this and start working immediately. Small shops that don't do this, they have to recalculate every angle, every this, every that. And it could be 3 or 4 more days before they're up and running on a large project. And that's how they lose clients. All right. So let's go back to our project. So we're going to figure things out here. We have a total cost. Everyone's spreadsheet has a total cost, but their products differ. So that's relatable to whatever career you're in. So our total cost, that's going to be quantity times the price. So we always start off with equal. You have to have equal. So it's going to be quantity. So we click. Simple as that. You could type it, but it's easy to click. Now, to do multiplication, it is the star or the asterisk. It's actually called an asterisk, but some people refer to it as a star. You'll find that on your keyboard, typically above your 8. And if you have a keypad with the numbers on it, it's always in the upper right-hand corner typically. Okay? Now so I'm doing math, and then I click on the price. Boom. And that's a left mouse click. And then I hit the return key. Boom. There we go. You can check it with a calculator, but you must have the formulas. When you turn in your sheet and I click here, I'm going to see this up here. If it's not there, you manually did this with a calculator, the highest score you can get is a 60. Okay? I want to make sure everybody understands that. If you don't use formulas, the highest score you can get is a 60. Okay? It's not a typing test. Now, discount, that's up to you. You can give them a discount. Just type it in and dollar amounts. Okay? Now we're getting to the final cost. This is the one that's a little more complicated. Your final cost, always start with an equal. It's going to be your total cost, and your total cost minus any discounts. So we're going to put in a minus sign, click on your discount, and then fees, that makes it go up. So we're going to put a plus sign, click on that fee, and then we're going to hit return. Okay, everybody understand how to calculate those, right? We're good so far? Yes? Now you're going to love this. This is what makes Excel incredible. Go to that total cost, click on it. See that little green square there? Watch my cross. See when it turns to a black cross? Hold down that left mouse button and pull it straight down to the last one there. Boom. Did you add those up that quick? Told you you would love it. Okay. Now we're going to put in our discounts here. So I'm going to give, this one's not so much here. I'm going to give them a $7 discount. You make these numbers up. They've only got $30 here. I'm only going to give them a $1 discount. Another $30, I'm going to give them a $1 discount. $72, I'm going to give them a $10 discount. 75, I'm going to give them a $12 discount for no reason. $220, I'm going to give them a $25 discount. I'm just varying it just for fun. Boom, just like that, right? Now, we're going to do the same thing over here. Go to that final cost, click on it. See that little green square? Go till you get that black cross. Hold down the left mouse button. Pull it straight down to that last one. Boom. Look at that. Don't you love that? Just like that, it calculated for you. Okay? Now, let's look at these totals here. To get this one, remember we go, when you're on that home screen, go to Formulas, Auto Sum. Boom. Then just hit Return. Okay? This one here, click here, Auto Sum. Return. Click here, Auto Sum. Return. This one, you don't have to have it in there, but it's blue, might as well. Auto Sum. Return. This one here, Auto Sum. Return. Now, that's how you do that. Okay? Any questions on how you feel this out, how you get these totals in here? Everybody good on this? All right. Now, File, create a copy, download a copy. I'm going to again put this on my desktop. I'm going to go back to that demo folder, and this time I'm going to put completed in front of it so I know which one it is. Save. It's got that saved. So I'm going to go back to my project here. Close that part. Scroll up to the top, say Start Assignment. Go to the little rocket ship. Go back to that folder, Demo, Completed. Open that up. You'll see it right there. Say Submit the assignment. And boom, I got a little thumbs up and confetti. All right. That is how you do that project from start to finish. So what looks like something that's going to be very, very complicated, I always want you to remember, eat the elephant. And by eating the elephant, that means one bite at a time. Break everything down. Look at it piece by piece. Figure out how to do it before you start doing it. All right. And by doing that, you can accomplish everything that you need to. But don't jump in and then panic. Look at it and figure out your plan of attack on it before you start it. And you can do these things. You can do everything that comes your way. Believe in yourself at all times, and you'll go further. Don't put self-doubt first. Put, I've never done this before, but I'm going to do this. Instead of, oh, I don't know, I don't think I can, which is our go-to. We all do this. I do this myself, but we're going to turn that around. We're going to promote ourselves. We're going to push ourselves, and that's how we're going to do this. All right. And any questions? Are we all good? All right. That is it. I'm going to send things out. I'm going to remind everyone about the assignments opening early on Friday. So catch everything up. And if you can't do everything when they open on Friday, try to knock out things like that discussion and stuff like that that are quick to get out, but they will also slow you down while you're trying to get that other stuff done. Okay. Now, I will tell you, week 4 does have what looks like a lot of work because it will show 4 chapters. Understand 2 of those chapters are just partial chapters. They're not full chapters. I wouldn't do that to you. but they're like single click items and they're not even half of the chapter each. So it is less than 3 chapters worth of work and it is in PowerPoint. And the last project is allow you to be very creative in it. So look forward to that. Do your best. Let me know if I can be of help. Have a great evening. And next week is our final live class. All right. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.